What's a secret you'll never tell your partner but are willing to tell strangers on Reddit? That she is far more similar to her mother and sisters than she would want to believe. This is my wife. Every time she's complaining to me about her mom and sister, I just have to keep my mouth shut because she complains about them doing stuff she does all the time. I'd say there's a decent chance she knows, and that's why she, presumably, emphasizes her distaste for those features in her family. She may recognize those characteristics in herself and be incapable of changing them. It's kind of like projecting. I say this because I, am 22, see the things I dislike most about my parents in myself. Who wants to admit they ate 9 cans of ravioli? I shit my pants 2 days ago. The one time when she and I first got together and she spent the night, I made it very clear I wanted her to leave in the morning. She was uncomfortable and brought it up later because of my behavior. I'll never tell her it's because since I only had one bathroom at the apartment and she was on the toilet that morning forever, it probably wasn't that long, just had time, and my ass runs on its own schedule. One had to shit in a small trash can on the back patio area I had. I had a high fence so no one could see, but there was a mess I needed to clean, both outside and on myself. But of course when she's out of the bathroom she has no idea and is asking about breakfast or whatever while I'm covered in poo. After she left, I tossed my clothes and the trash can in the dumpster and took a long shower. And she also doesn't know that's the reason I've insisted any apartment we live in has 2 bathrooms. We've lived in 4 apartments together and everyone has had 2 bathrooms. Because I'm not doing that again. That I know the word she's looking for, but it's more fun to hear her rattle off increasingly ridiculous, sometimes made-up words instead. Wholesome Reddit is always a nice surprise. My best friend is a badger and I feed him sweet corn every morning at 5:20 a.m. Edit. Wow, this really blew up. Me and my badger friend Lucius appreciate all the support. I never paid for her engagement ring. I went to a custom jeweler to have her ring made. It's a beautiful piece, and she loves it dearly, and it certainly wasn't cheap, appraised and insured for around $10,000. The jeweler was dealing with a lot of family issues at the time, and was incredibly disorganized. I went to pick up the ring and brought my checkbook to pay for it, and when she handed me the ring I took it out and asked her who to make the check out to. She said, "Oh no, don't worry about it right now, just send me a check in the mail." I thought that was strange, but sure, okay. She then hurried off to help another customer and I left. But she never told me what the final price was. For the next 6 months, I texted and called the jeweler asking, "Hey, just tell me what amount to put and I'll mail you the check." And there was always a reason she couldn't tell me. "Oh sorry, I'm out right now, I'll find it and text you later." Her shop was a few hours away from where I live, so it wasn't feasible to stop by and handle it in person. I tried for 6 months, but after that I stopped calling, texting and just figured I got the ring for free. I wouldn't tell my spouse, because I don't want her to think I took advantage of the situation or that somehow the ring isn't as meaningful, because I didn't pay for it. I'm really tired of everything. I got our toddler out of bed one morning and went to do a sniff test of their butt to see if they had pooed overnight, and when I lifted my child up I stuck their head in the ceiling fan. Oh, and the time I forgot to put the car in park with them in it. I can't remember the last time I was genuinely happy more than just an in-the-moment feeling due to something happening. My default emotion is just depressed, tired. My nieces don't like the aquarium. I just constantly took them there because I thought my now girlfriend, who works there, was pretty and thought if she saw me constantly taking them it'd lead to us talking. What I actually paid for my woodworking tools edit, obligatory rip-in box. As a few have pointed out, this absolutely applies to pretty much any hobby. And I'll put it here since so many are asking, but I don't actually keep track of how much I've spent over the years, but just the big expensive ones I remember. I'm over $5,000 already. Then all the smaller tools, chisels, handplanes, and ultimately I should include the cost of running a 220V single-phase outlet for my jointer and more than I really want to admit to myself. But the joy and sense of accomplishment I get on the completed pieces are worth every penny spent. It really is my happy place. As a guitarist, my biggest fear is that after I die, my wife will sell my guitars for what I told her I paid for them. Edit. I feel like I should probably state, for the record, that this is a long-standing joke in the musician community. My wife actually bought me 2 of my guitars. She knows how much they're worth. Lol. My husband loves talkative cats. When we first got our kittens, I gave them a treat every time they made a meow or chirp. Since I was working from home, they ended up becoming very vocal. He still goes on about how lucky we are to have such talkative cats in a weekly basis. Our cat didn't break the towel rack. I did. I was pretending to be fighting zombies and grabbed it and ripped the goddamn thing off the wall. I heard her coming to check out the noise and looked down at my cat. She came into the bathroom to me asking my cat, "Why did you think the towel rack could hold your weight?" You silly cat. I am terrified that my partner will die because I know I am not really a functional adult outside of my work. I am good for playing with the kids, bringing in a decent income and making food, but the idea of single parenting and taking care of everything fills me with existential dread I have a hard time describing. Obligatory edit. Thank you all for the support and kind comments. I never expected my top comment ever would be about how I worry for the future because I feel like 3 raccoons in a trench coat instead of a human adult. If you feel the same way, just know you aren't alone. That he legit saved my life. He's a nervous, humble guy who doesn't like undue pressure or praise, so I keep it to myself just how bad off I was before he showed up. Because even in the aftermath of my mom's death and even in the face of some pretty nasty health problems, which I was just letting slide because I was so depressed I was kind of hoping they'd kill me, I was very, very good at smiling and being charming. 3 years of taking care of a terminally ill parent taught me how to smile and bear it and feign positivity even when you're running on empty. And I never felt like I could be anything other than the fixer. The doer. The person who always knows what to say. The reliable one. They who has every answer and can make bad feelings go away by just fixing the problem for you. I was not allowed to be negative. Ever. But he legit came in and helped me with mom's estate and cheerleaded me into getting out of a dead-end career and put a stake in the heart of some severely toxic relationships I had and even helped me budget so I could finally afford health insurance, which wasn't a moment too soon, because I caught shit right in the nick of time. And he just kind of did it. In his mind it was nothing much because you were on the right track, but you had a lot on your plate and needed help, smiley face. And I just nod and agree because what else do I say? I actually wasn't. I was just going to let myself die because I was exhausted and miserable, smiles aside. Thanks for intervening. Not me but my friend. So his wife was really sick but was also extremely stubborn and religious. She believed that God will heal her, so he came to me and asked for a few of my sleeping pills. They're really strong and get you into a deep sleep quickly. So puts the pills in her drink. Like clockwork, in 30 minutes she's out cold. He then asks me to help him get her to hospital. Next morning she wakes up in the hospital. Good thing too, course on top of that sickness she had stage 1 cancer. She survived and it's all good now. But he made me swear I don't tell her what we did. My wife shit while delivering our son. Something she was terrified she would do. The nurse cleaned up very quickly and gave me a look that needed no explanation. I never said a word. She talked after delivery about how happy she was that didn't happen to her. I'll let her keep that peace of mind for life. I pissed myself on accident trying to not be a two-trip bitch, running my groceries up to my apartment. If not for my partner and my family, I would have killed myself a long time ago. They are literally what I live for, and I can't tell them that because they would worry about me so much. Edit. I am not actively suicidal, and I will not harm myself in the foreseeable future. That the thing that made me realize that I was in love with her is when I was taking a shower and got done. I walked into the room and she must not have heard me get out. She was laying on her side on the bed with her eyes closed, and she was picking her nose. I didn't want to embarrass her, so I stepped back out and from a distance asked where I set my clean clothes as I was walking back in, to make it seem like I was just coming in. She was visibly startled and quickly stopped, but continued to lay there with her eyes closed. I pretended that I saw nothing, but I couldn't help but smile. It was such an innocent and human moment. I have no idea why, but it made me realize right then and there that I loved everything about her. As silly as that moment was, there was a beauty in it, and I cherish that memory. Sometimes I just sit in my car outside work or our apartment for 20 to 30 minutes because I need some time alone. I have my mind full to the brim at work and rarely get time in the house alone. Sometimes I just need it to be quiet and not have to pay attention to anything. I relate to this so much. My partner works remotely, and I go into work. I never ever have any alone time. I understand needing time to just sit in silence without someone wondering if something is on your mind. The reason I wasn't hungry that one day in Dublin was because when I stayed behind to get ready while she waited in the lobby, I ate the entire box of leftover chicken wings that we took home from the restaurant the day before. I ate 15 cold, oily chicken wings in about 5 minutes at 9 a.m. before heading out for breakfast. That's as much as I love him, with all my heart and soul. Even after a decade of being together, his relentless negativity and pessimism does my head in sometimes. I have been molested 4 times by 4 different old guys, and I am male. I dropped the diaper rash cream container on our daughter's head when she was like 8 days old. She let out this scream that still haunts me. When he came in the room to see what happened, I lied and said I just dropped the lid on her. I've broken your personalized cup your sister got you 3 times. I recreated the design on paint and got some screen printing stall at the mall to print it on the cup. Each time it looks a little bit different. Tears of joy. That my wife always screams. She just doesn't seem to be able to talk at a normal level. Feel like she should be selling fish at a marketplace. Love her though. I love her food, but I always feel bad when she's cooking for me. Every time we're playing Yahtzee and she asks, "Do I have one more roll or was that 3 inches?" I always say one more regardless of the truth. My parents thinks he's gay. That I actually prefer creamy peanut butter. I buy the extra crunchy because that's what he likes. When I play video games and my wife isn't here, I narrate what I do and respond to fake questions from a non-existent chat like I'm some kind of big shot streamer. I even look at a fake camera when something happened. Lol. I love that you look at the fake camera. 15 years ago I had a new medication that did not mix well with alcohol. I had a party with friends. We decided to go out in town. Next thing I remember, I woke up in a cell at the police station stripped down to my undies. It turned out I took a taxi. Instead of going home, I went to my mother's street. Apparently I was lucid enough to remember her street, but not her house, and ended up in her neighbor's backyard doing enough noise to wake him up. In the end I got about $400 fine and a tremendous amount of shame. I hate that he doesn't want to go anywhere, ever. Everything is always a chore or he dreads it. I want to go on hikes, random car rides, a damn picnic. Just get out of the house with him, just him. I want to go on dates. I'm growing very tired of this lifestyle. Edit. I didn't expect this to blow up. As many said, it could very well be depression, money management and health reasons. I've decided after reading a lot of the comments that I will have a serious talk with him. Besides that, we will have to look into him finding a therapist and hopefully he will become social again. I know there's a lot of factors to his introvertedness. When I was 14, my grandma passed away. For years, I had been bothering my parents for my own gold necklace. Well, Gram had a little bit of money and she gave me the $300 for a gold necklace in her will. It was my pride and joy. I had it around my neck for 17 years before I met my wife. It was off my neck maybe 3 times in those 17 years. My wife, then girlfriend, knew how much it meant to me and asked to wear it once. Well, it never came home. She had lost it somewhere or it had gotten stolen. I was distraught like crazy for 3 or 4 days while we turned our house upside down looking for it. Inevitably, I gave up, but she was very bothered by it all. So, I decided to go to a pawn shop and buy the closest I could get to an exact duplicate, and then I told her that I had found the necklace in the couch cushions. To this day, she thinks that I found my necklace from my grandmother, but this is actually version 2. My husband complains about being in pain so much that I feel like there's no room for me to be in pain. And sometimes I really resent that. I have a chronic health condition that I have no choice but to manage well because he wouldn't know what to do if he had to care for me like I have to care for him. Sucks, but it is what it is. ETA, sorry to hear this is so common. My partner is otherwise lovely and I've told him before, no need to beat a dead horse. To me it's a small part of a big and full relationship, so it's just something I live with. Last night you made fried rice with shrimp. I ate the whole bowl even though it tasted nasty. God, it was awful. Whenever she's not home, I let the dog onto the bed and take a really comfy nap. I set an alarm for an hour and kick the dog off and clean the fur off before she ever gets home. I've been doing this for nearly 3 years now. When I asked her dad for his blessing, I had some liquid courage first, and I can't remember what his response was. Let's hope it was yes, because we've been married for over 2 years. That time I asked you if I could have the last cookie, I implied there was only one left when there was actually 2. I wanted both of them and didn't want to share. They were delicious and I have no regrets. That I wish she would find a career or pursue a degree so I don't have to work 1,000 plus hours of OT a year so she can sit at home. That I am the one placing the googly eyes on everything in our house, not our 6-year-old.